There's something new in the wash at Vermont farmers markets.
Hand washing remains one of the best ways to prevent the spread of germs. The CDC is pretty emphatic about that. And so the thought was, what can we do to make hand washing more accessible and available in places that we might not traditionally think of it being? When this question came in, we started looking around at what are the options, and that's everything from existing do-it-yourself models and plans and examples to commercially available integrated prefabricated assembled units. On the one hand, you have a do-it-yourself approach, which is relatively inexpensive, and on the other end, you have commercially available products quite a bit more expensive. When we looked at that range, one of the things we were thinking about is, do they work well, and can we possibly improve on them?
Walk us through what you and your colleague Andy Chamberlain in the UVM Extension Agricultural Engineering program have come up with as a solution.
We literally just went back to the drawing board. Andy and I sat down and spent a couple of hours just thinking through, here's the problem. We need a way to wash hands where we don't have a sink and running water and plumbing. How do we bring the plumbing to the people? It's things like making sure we have a known clean water supply. And so that translated into having a 5-gallon tote of water that has a cap on it. You fill it from a potable source or a known clean source, and you bring that wherever you need it. It's hands-free operation of that water. So we put a spigot on that tote that's spring-loaded, and you can actually attach a cable to that, and run it down to a foot pedal instead of having to push that spigot down with your finger like a coffee urn. Yep. You can run it with your foot. So your hands are now free. They haven't touched the spigot, and they're free to focus on the business of washing your hands. It's having gray water collection, so that water, now we've washed our hands, it has soap in it. Where does it go? We don't want it on the ground. We don't want it at your feet. So we collect that in a second 5-gallon tote. The water goes into a basin that drains to this tote. That water's collected. You can cap it up and dispose of it properly off-site. Hands-free dispensing of soap, hands-free dispensing of paper towels. Again, a lot of the focus was, how do we make this so that we don't have lots of different people touching surfaces that we're counting on being clean?
What's your estimate on how many people can wash their hands using your design?
We get about 1.5 cups per 30 seconds of that valve being open. Okay. The short answer is it's about 50 people can wash their hands with this 5-gallon tote. If you expect more people than that, bring extra totes. So there's an expandability of this. You have the infrastructure. You're bringing totes of water instead of having a plumbing.
The cost of a commercial portable hand washing station ranges from $400 to $2,000. What Callahan and Chamberlain have built costs less than $175. The do-it-yourself ethic they brought to this project has wider implications than cost.
As with many things during the pandemic, the availability of goods has been limited, and so trying to find some of these things can really be challenging. So, again, trying to help improve resilience of local communities. If it's something you can build or assemble from other very accessible parts, then the chances of it actually happening improve, and that's what we're after. We want to make sure that whoever needs something like this can make it happen.
The hand washing station that Callahan has set up at the Bennington Farmers Market is for vendors. Here at the Jericho Farmers Market, it's also being used by customers. Andy Chamberlain explains how it works.
Everything is hands-free, no touch, including the water with the foot pedal, hands-free soap dispenser, the paper towels where the only thing you touch is the towel itself, and the wastebasket is also hands-free. It's all off-the-shelf items, so it's very easy to do, no craftsmanship required. The only thing you have to do is drill a couple holes. So I drilled a hole in the spigot here where a spring clip connects to a piece of cable down to the foot pedal. So then you can just step on the foot pedal, and then the water goes into this, is actually an oil drain pan with a fitting in it. So the tubing goes from the oil drain pan down into the collection bucket. So the gray water gets collected and is not just dribbling all over your feet.
As with any design, Callahan sees room for improvement, and he looks forward to learning from others in the DIY community and from other farmers markets around the region how to improve on what he's developed.
if it's not this specific part, what is the function that part is providing that somebody might be able to find something else for? In fact, we ran into this in our own prototype building. I used a bus tote for the basin, a restaurant busing tote for the basin. Andy went to drill a hole in his and it cracked. And so he had to find something else readily available. He went to the hardware store, oil drain pan, boom. The next step is to capture some of those lessons learned, write them up. We're trying to be pretty quick with this and, not let perfect be the enemy of good enough. But capture that in a document that we can then just provide as an open source guide for people to really take and run with. And that's the important thing about it's not just these specific designs. We're not suggesting these are the only 2 designs people should build. These are 2 examples of designs that demonstrate or embody the design features we've come up with. Take a look at the design features, make it your own, and improve on it. And that's the open source community in a nutshell. Here's what I did. Here's why I did it. Improve on it and give it back to everybody else. So we're also planning to, on our website, not only have our resources, but we would love for people to send us pictures on social media at UPM EXT Ag Eng. Tag us into your hand washing station, and we'll collect what other people have built.